Lexington, Kentucky. You're watching the SEC on ESPN, and tonight, inside Rupp Arena, we raise the curtain on another college basketball season. Out of the Horizon League, Wright State is here to take on Mark Pope's Kentucky Wildcats as Pope takes over the winningest program in college basketball history. Welcome courtside. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dykes. Where else would you rather be as we get another college basketball season started? And Jimmy, at the end of last year, John Calipari left for Arkansas. There was some consternation as to what the next move would be.
Well, Mark Pope was not the first, second, or maybe even third choice for Kentucky, but you know what? He was the right choice. He understands the job assignment here as the head guy, and that's to hang another national title banner in Rupp Arena. What I love about Mark Pope, he told Mitch Barnhart during the interview process, you can talk to a lot of guys out there. There's only one that understands the Kentucky jersey. I wore it, blood, sweat, and tears to win a national championship. The Kentucky jersey is a big deal to Mark Pope. It's a big deal to this state, and he absolutely embraces all of it.
He has said it is not my program, it is our program and belongs to the entire Commonwealth. Ready to go tonight, Jackson Robinson played for Pope last year at BYU. Kentucky, one of 7 teams in the country that returns 0 production for last year's squad. 2 high-profile offenses. Kentucky will shoot a lot of threes, and they'll get close twos on the lob to Andrew Carr. Can't get much more high percentage than that. Wright State was 4th in the country in scoring last year, nearly 87 points a game. They led the country in field goal percentage. Now, it's obviously not exactly the same team, some turnover, but they're a veteran squad.
And we've already seen the passing ability of Kentucky. A fast-paced offense. And within 15 seconds is the target for Mark Pope on the offensive end.
Clint Sargent is the first-year head coach for Wright State, a longtime assistant for the Raiders. They played 1 exhibition game. They scored 108 points. Meanwhile, Kentucky wants to be a team that will shoot as many as 35 threes a game. Here's Lamont Butler, the point guard. Kind of rare, even in this day and age of college basketball, that you have complete roster turnover. The only guys back are Grant Darbyshire and Walker Horn, a couple of walk-ons, and a push for an early whistle against Amari Williams. He transferred in from Drexel, where he played 4 years.
Well, Mark Pope did a great job of identifying guys that fit his system. And talking about big number 22 there, Amari Williams, he is the play starter as a 5-man up top. A lot of trigger action. This offense runs through the 5-man for Kentucky.
Wright State, Brandon Knoll inside, misses the bunny, gets the ball and puts it right back up and in. He's your preseason player of the year in the Horizon League.
Yeah, the guy's just got a knack. 6'7", 240. Can step out, knock down perimeter shots. A very good passer.
Take Owe fouled on his way in. It'll be on Alex Schubricks. His first.
Tom Owe is a key guy for Kentucky. With all the shooters that Mark Pope has brought into the roster, this guy is a guy who can get in the paint and force the defense to respond to the basketball. He and Butler have to be paint-touch guards for Kentucky in order to free up those perimeter shooters all year long.
Owe played for Porter Moser at Oklahoma last year. And he's got another free throw coming his way. He had a fantastic run through the 2 exhibition games, averaged 17 points a game, and shot 82% from the floor. 2 for 2 from the line for Otega Owe, the junior out of Newark, New Jersey. How does Wright State style play on the road in this building against this up-tempo Kentucky team?
Tom, I think you're going to see Wright State try to get to the 7th or 8th pass within the possession. They're a high-octane offense, but they have to have an awareness that this building can explode if they shoot quick shots tonight.
They work it down low, but that shot is sent the other way. Now Kentucky chance to push. Oh, all alone!
Man, the value of a big that can board and bring it on full display early for Kentucky.
3 ball left short. Owe has the rebound. He's been all over the place for the Cats so far. Andrew Carr gives it up. Williams, nobody stops him. A left-hand hammer. What a start for this Kentucky offense. Last year, one of the top scoring teams in the country at 89 a game under John Calipari. Contested three is good for Alex Hubricks, who shot 42% from deep last year.
Kentucky switched, but they switched too low. Allowed a good look for a three-point shot.
Oweh with the crossover. Lamont Butler, quick as a hiccup, lays it in.
If you can't guard the ball, Wright State's in real trouble.
3 straight drives to the rack for Kentucky, 2 of them dunks, and then the Butler bucket. Mid-range rejected by Butler, one of the best defenders in college basketball. Transition 3. Get used to it. It's what they want to do. And Kentucky cashing in early. First bucket for Jackson Robinson as a Wildcat. Knoll trying to direct traffic. Wright State has taken a right hook right off the bat tonight. Here's Knoll working at Carr. Got length in front of him, backs him down with 2 on the shot clock. He rolls off. Chance to push for Robinson.
Yeah, that length of Kentucky bothering Knoll already early in this game.
Oweh behind Carr. Mid-range jumper off the mark. A 5 for 6 start from the floor for Kentucky.
A big question for Wright State. How long does it take for them to settle into this game?
3 is off the mark. They're really struggling offensively. Just 2 for 9. They led the country in field goal percentage last year. 15-footer. Nope. Back-to-back misses for the first time for the Cats.
You see Clint starting to tell these guys to slow down a little bit right now. We've got to find our offensive rhythm. This is a team that can really shoot the ball, but the length at all 5 spots right now has bothered this team in green.
3 ball off the mark from Hubricks. And here come the Cats again. Butler down the lane.
That's too easy. Tom, that's just too easy. There's no offense that Kentucky has to run if you can't guard the bounce. Just that initial guy getting to the middle third of the floor all the way to the rim. A real concern, I'm sure, for Coach Sargent early.
It's a 7-0 Kentucky run. And that one banked in by Brandon Knoll.
Hey, whatever it takes, though, to put a stop sign up in this building, you'll take it, right?
Cats have so many different options on the offensive end. And it feels like it'll be a different star every night, but Jackson Robinson comes in with the best looking resume. Took a bump on his way in and turned it over. It will be Wright State basketball when we return. Kentucky off to a sizzling start. The Cats have made 6 out of 9, and it's a 7-point lead for Kentucky. 15-8, Kentucky with the lead. The Cats have 6 buckets, and they got 5 assists to go along with them.
Tom, it's all gas, no brakes for Kentucky. It starts with Amari Williams, number 22. At 7 feet, he is a play starter, even in transition. A really nice, aggressive push to the ball, finished off by Otega Oweh. And I talked about the Kentucky length at all 5 positions, causing Wright State problems. What I love about that transition play, the ball is advanced from 1/3 of the floor to the other with the pass, 1 bounce into a rhythm shot by Jackson Robinson. And man, what a hot start for Kentucky.
If you like advanced numbers, Jackson Robinson shoots 1.3 points per possession in transition threes. And his coaching staff, especially with Cody Figger, spent a lot of time talking to their guys about the best value you can find on the floor. And that is really good value. You're scoring 1.3 points per possession.
No doubt. This is Kentucky with a full court press. You'll see some Rick Pitino influence on Mark Pope. And it just came through a trial and error period as Mark Pope as a head coach, and he finally worked his way back to that Pitino system of pressing and knocking down threes at a high rate.
A couple of subs in for the Cats. That 3 off the mark. Brandon Garrison is on the floor for the first time, along with Kobe Bryant. Lob one there. Robinson zigged when Butler thought he was going to zag. Transition for Wright State the other way. They're really struggling, trying to knock down shots. Just 3 for 13. Transition 3 again. Robinson in and out.
Yeah, such a good fill behind, though, by Jackson Robinson. And great awareness to know where that trail shooter was. Kentucky will be unapologetic for how many threes they take this year.
Keith Norris high off the glass, rebounded by Robinson. Cats led the nation in three-point shooting last year at 41%, made 10 of them. It was one of the best shooting teams under Jack Calipari from behind the arc in a while. Here's Carr with a jump hook, and it rolls home for Andrew Carr, product of both Delaware and Wake Forest.
Tom, great recognition to understand Carr had a 8-inch probably mismatch, just getting posted up at the logo and letting go to work. And it works because of the spacing that Kentucky can put on you because of the shooters, and you're hugged up on both sides of the floor.
Drake Carter with the ball in his hands. He and Andrew Wellage have entered for the first time for Wright State. Carter knocks down the three. He was just 2 for 13 from deep last year as a redshirt freshman in limited action. Brea left all alone.
He was one of the most sought-after shooters in the portal of all of college basketball this past summer. Shot 49% at Dayton last year. Just a lack of awareness of not switching up high on a Kentucky shooter cost Wright State again.
Yeah, that 49.8 percentage clip led the country in three-point percentage. Big night in college basketball as we celebrate opening night, and a big one tonight. Stay up late for Baylor and Gonzaga. Top 10 showdown coming your way from Spokane. Coverage begins 11:30 Eastern, 8 Pacific. Roxy Bernstein and Jason Williams on the call in the Pacific Northwest.
Tom, the consistency of Gonzaga, 9 straight Sweet 16 appearances. They've got a couple of All-American candidates, and Ryan Nembhard at the point guard spot and Graham Ike at the 5 spot.
Ryan Nembhard's still playing college basketball.
Man, how about that?
Rematch of the 2021 national title game. Dribble drive knocked away by Colin Chandler, 21-year-old, who was on a LDS mission the last 2 years. From the top of the key, Kirk Kriisa couldn't knock it down.
Those long loose ball rebounds against Kentucky, you've got to clean them up.
Williams with the left hand.
I love this kid as a playmaker up top. They list him at about 6'11", 7 feet, but he's got a handle. He can drive it, he can pass it. A key pickup in this system for Mark Pope.
Free ball off the mark. Williams with the board. Touch pass to 77. Kriisa on his third Division I school. Signed to play with Bobby Huggins last year. That didn't work out. And West Virginia had a terrible season, but he was a winner playing at Arizona. Won 86% of his games. Corner three. Good.
Really good action.
Kobe Bryant.
Tom, it was zoom action. Z-O-O-M. Zoom action to the left side of the floor. And instead of Bryant coming to the top, he just breaks it off. And the pass on time, on target by Williams.
14-point lead for the Cats. Brea forces an error pass. Aiden Davis finds it. Shot clock is already at 6. Much different tempo, Wright State, in this game than they played with all last year. Shake, and the three's off the back. Tipped right to Brea. No numbers, they're still going to push. Brea hesitation. He got close enough to take an opportunity. Wright State just 4 for 18 for this game for a team that led the country in field goal percentage last year. Step back 16-footer in and out.
Wright State taking a lot of hard guarded shots early in this game. Basketball is pretty simple. The quality of my shot versus the quality of your shot. Kentucky absolutely winning that game within the game.
A turnover for the Cats, but otherwise they've been red hot. Now on an 8-0 run, thanks to 63% shooting. Tom Hart with Jimmy Dykes. Take us through zoom action.
Well, Amari Williams, number 22 for Kentucky, has the ball up top to start the zoom action. And when he catches it, now he's going to dribble to one side or the other. This time he goes to the left side. And Brea down here in the corner just breaks it off and steps back into an open three. That zoom action has become so popular in international ball, the NBA, and college ball. But it takes a big guy that plays the game like a point guard to run it effectively. Amari Williams is that. He already has 3 assists in the ball game, a couple of them off of that zoom action.
He had a 17% assist rate last year, second best on Drexel's team. The year before was 21%. That's assisting on 1 out of every 5 baskets his team scored.
I'm not so sure he's not the most important pickup for Mark Pope in his first year.
Ball got knocked away by Brandon Garrison, Oklahoma State transfer. Shot clock is late again for Wright State. 5 on the clock. Contested jumper, no. Garrison got a hand on it. But Kobe Brea, who's playing in Wright State's hometown for the Dayton Flyers the last few years. Brea, floater, good.
Good aggressive put. Now Brea is all of 6'7". Known as a three-point shooter, has a complete game. Again, Wright State, their inability to get the ball under control in transition, a big concern.
This is a Wright State team that had a handful of votes to win the Horizon League. They finished 18 of 14 last season. Scored 87 points a game, 4th in the country. They're pushing and shoving inside, and North tried to lean into that one, and they continue to struggle. Meanwhile, Kentucky had a 10-0 run. I rode over with Mark Pope today from the Kraft Center to Rupp Arena, and he said the first thing I learned as a Kentucky player when I transferred here from Washington was I was talking to one of my older teammates, and he said, Pope, Rupp Arena is special. We're going to go on runs, and we're going to put the hammer down on opponents, whether that's a 10-0 run or 20-0 run. And we've seen a couple of them so far here tonight. Krisa from the logo at the end of the clock.
But Tom, that's why it's so important as an opponent in this building this year. You've got to have the ability to throw a stop sign up. And normally on the road, what do? You throw the thing inside, you drive it to the paint, you get fouled, you stop the game. Wright State not able to do any of those things. The Kentucky defense, the size and just the alertness right now, making everything a guarded, tough shot for Wright State.
They're able to do that because Mark Pope has gone 5 deep on his bench. They've already played 10 guys so far tonight, make it 11 with Ansley Almanor on the floor for the first time. Interesting conversation with Pope at shoot around today, and a bump from Colin Chandler will be his first. And we talked about substitution patterns. It was a very scientific study. It was all about your rate of play while you're in the game after, say, minute number 6, 7, 8, 9. And for example, he said Jackson Robinson can just go. There's no drop-off until he gets to, what did he say, like minute 12 or 13?
Yeah.
And most guys are closer to showing signs of fatigue at minute 6, 7, 8.
So how does that play out for Mark Pope going forward as they track those numbers through the first 10 games? It will give him a base or just an idea in the substitution pattern. Now, those numbers he's working off of guys last year in different systems, but I thought it was very interesting how deep he will go in terms of understanding his own team. Oh, that rim dive, yeah, that's just too easy. Kentucky, they spread the floor, they open up the middle. They'll set a step-up ball screen, and as soon as you go high, they just dive right out of it for an easy 2.
Cats have held Wright State to 23% shooting here in the first 12 minutes. I mentioned earlier, this is a Kentucky team last year that scored a lot of points, nearly 90 a game. Step back for Kubricks, and I just wonder, after seeing this Kentucky team a little bit and how Mark Pope is going to play on the offensive end, they're going to be better defensively, correct?
Well, he brought in 3 defensive players of the year, first of all, in that transfer portal. And it starts with Amari Williams, and we know Lamont Butler, this kid with the ball right here, was, that's just way so easy. Oh, wow, listen, easy. Butler's one of the better defensive point guards in all of college ball, and if you can defend the point in the post, you're in business.
Knocked away by Ole, leaves it behind, and that's Kentucky basketball now. We've got a timeout on the floor with a 13-point lead for Kentucky when we return. Hear from head coach Mark Pope on that very quick drive from the practice facility downtown Lexington and Rupp Arena after this.
They've got several chances to feel it. They got to feel it big. Got to feel it in blue-white scrimmage. They got to feel it in the 2 exhibition games, and so they'll continue. They get to feel it every time they step off campus, right? But it'll continue to mean more to them as they actually experience it, right? There's no way to gain experience but to experience, and in that sense, there's no shortcut. But certainly, these guys are quick studies, and they're taking advantage of every opportunity they have to kind of learn about what this place is.
Jimmy, my question for Mark Pope on the drive over today was something that you talked about earlier. He was a perfect man for the job because he wore the uniform, and he knows how important this program is to this entire state and Big Blue Nation. So I asked him, even though you have players with experience, they don't have Kentucky experience. So how do you impart that wisdom on your team? And you heard his answer. They'll learn. You can't help but learn every time you step off campus or you walk to class or whatever it is.
And he's not the only coach right now dealing with that on opening day, opening night. I mean, so many rosters are completely rebuilt. But he identified guys that can flat out score, bringing in almost 8,000 points and over 1,000 made threes combined on this Kentucky roster. Easy backdoor clear out again. Mark Pope so good, Tom Hart, at keeping the lane open for his offense. You try to pressure, you just burn it off with a back cut. Well done by Robbins.
20 of 31 Kentucky points have come into the paint here early on, and put a capper on that one. The most experienced team in program history, with 586 career starts. Solomon Callahan, redshirt freshman out of Wadsworth, Ohio, with the bucket.
He is going to be a heck of a player in that Horizon League. Callahan, there's Robinson. So good off of the rhythm dribble again. Those transition threes for Kentucky. They're going to fire him and keep firing him. Misses do not bother this team at all.
Cats 4 of 8 from 3. After the hesitation, the three's no good, and a rebound by Robinson.
Tom, think about Kentucky right now. 11 assists on 14 makes. They move the ball, they move people. A very unselfish club early in the season.
Here's Butler, one of the biggest gets in the offseason for this team out of San Diego State. Carr got tied up. 3 women's games coming your way Sunday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ESPN2. Gonzaga takes on Stanford, doubleheader at the Ally Tip-Off in Charlotte. NC State and Don Staley's #1 ranked Gamecocks will meet, followed by Virginia Tech and Iowa. All 3 games available on the ESPN app.
South Carolina, so at 38-0 last year.
Is that good?
That train is just continuing to power down the tracks. I mentioned Solomon Callahan, number 13 in green for Wright State. What a beautiful young man. Had the opportunity to visit with him last night, and when his mom was pregnant with him, she was a drug user. So he was actually born, Tom, with some really pretty serious health complications, and was adopted at the age of 6 months, and has a beautiful family that his adoptive parents are here in attendance tonight. But you talk about a grateful, thankful kid. I asked him what he learned from that experience that he's gone through in life. He said, you know what, when the chips are stacked against you, it's okay. Just battle through it. But you talk about a guy with a ball that has a great appreciation for life and playing college ball. It's 13 in green.
His dad Scott, his mom Marquisa, sitting in the upper regions of Rupp Arena today. Dribble handoff, another hesitation, another late shot clock situation, and Ortega away with the foul. There's a family, including his brother, who's also adopted in the Wright State gear. Brother Zeke, Marquisa and Scott. How cool is that? Solomon set a school record for points at Wadsworth High School in Ohio, 4th best score in that county's history.
Kid that makes tough shots. He's a star on-ball defender. He's got a really bright future.
Kubrick's trying to find some space. Contested jumper, good.
And you can live with that if you're Kentucky. I mean, you're forcing Wright State to work awfully hard to get clean looks. They knock down 15-foot fadeaways, pat him on the butt, and go on.
Here's Butler. Sorry, he played in a Final Four and a national championship for Brian Dutcher, San Diego State. A little shake for Garrison, trying to weave through traffic.
Probably the first questionable shot I've seen from Kentucky. You don't want your 7-footer taking an off-balance runner outside the lane.
Reach in by Carr. His first.
The foul is on Garrison. That's his first and the team's fifth.
Well, they said it was on Garrison. I thought they had Carr on the reach in. And they'll get that situated as Brandon Knoll, the Horizon League preseason player of the year, waits to shoot. Amari Williams back on the floor. Garrison will get a breather. I think, Jimmy, that some folks might look at the halftime box score if you're a Kentucky fan and say, hold on a second, I thought we were supposed to launch a bunch of threes. Only 8 of their 23 so far have come from behind the arc. Pretty simple explanation for that.
Well, yeah, you take what the defense gives you. And Kentucky's shot selection, other than Garrison's, has been 10 out of 10 in my eyes. At length again, and just continues to bother this team out of the horizon.
Goes away with the block in the corner. Here's Jackson Robinson. Williams gets cut off on his spin back. Knoll with the steal and the slam. Brandon Knoll, the junior, out of Lucasville, Ohio, gets 7.
Yeah, the preseason Horizon Player of the Year did a great job of sitting there waiting on Williams to spin and just ate it up.
Robinson, off balance 3, off the mark. Wright State has a little wriggle room. They've made 5 of their last 7. Willage cut off. Lamont Butler's all over it. What a play on the defensive end. He blows his second bunny of the game, though. For years as a San Diego State Aztec, he was a winner on Montezuma Mesa, the 3 off the mark. And rebounded by Butler. Push ahead. Here's Williams. Hello. Doing chin-ups on the rim.
This is a true 7-footer that has shown you a little bit of everything so far. Going back to Butler missing his second layup. The one question mark about Butler in that portal was he has missed a lot of rim shots in his career, not this guy. Ortega Owe is just a bull with the ball. Built to be a defensive stud. And right back at you. When Wright State had a little bit of momentum, Kentucky just explodes quickly on their home floor.
16 fast break points for the Wildcats tonight. And they've extended that lead back to 18 here in the first half of Rupp. We've got a loaded college football slate coming your way on ABC on Saturday. Starts with Florida at college football playoff contender Texas. Georgia heads to Oxford. And then what feels like a CFP elimination game, Bama and LSU from Death Valley under the lights on ABC. Tom Hart and Jimmy Dykes. We're seeing Kentucky turn up the pressure defensively with guard play.
Well, they got 16 fast break points, Kentucky does. And it's, again, the link. This is a good, smart leak out by Amari Williams. He's not going to be involved in the rebound, so he challenges the shot and just kind of leaks out and gets out in front of the play. And then there's Ortega Owe, just a good job of shooting the gap. Kind of a bull in a closet with a basketball in terms of his brute strength. But I like this Kentucky defense. They're alert, and they're kind of guarding themselves right now. Both teams run similar offenses, so there's nothing catching Kentucky by surprise. I think it's interesting we played this far, and Kentucky has still not had a true freshman on the floor.
Yeah, that's
Think
true.
about the last 15 years under John Calipari. A true freshman was in the starting lineup all those 15 years. Mark Pope has not even put a freshman on the floor yet.
Little 2-2-1 look. I'm worried about your closet. I thought mine was messy. You got a bowl in yours.
Yeah,
I am very concerned.
I think it's supposed to be a china closet, but I just went with a wardrobe closet. It looks the same for me.
Here's a 3-ball from Willage. He checks out his Ole Miss. Wright State just has not been able to find any sort of rhythm offensively.
Wow.
Williams with the rebound. By the way, you mentioned they haven't played any freshmen. They got a couple of guys from right here in the state who put up huge high school numbers that we figure to see. Guys like Travis Perry and Trent Noah. Rebound into the hands of Wright State. Interesting talking with this Kentucky coaching staff today about the value of rebounding going up on the offensive side when you shoot threes. And Cody Figure was telling me, he said, our rebounding rate goes up by 5%. That was a goaltending call on Amari Williams when we shoot threes. And there's a lot of different reasons for that, right? The rebounds are longer. They come off the rim harder. The defense is typically spread out a little bit more.
Yeah, the game's messy and scrambled.
It'd be chaotic.
Yeah, those are hard checkouts. And Kentucky, they're so well drilled, Tom, in their run game. When they fire those quick threes, man, they got usually 3, if not 4 guys batting for those long loose ball rebounds.
It's a good screen from Creasa. Carr challenged and gets fouled. He had a mismatch with Keaton Norris on.
Terrific patience, though, by Carr, because a little bit of a quick double team, but he waited for the double team to shed off of him before he went to work with those big, strong shoulders. And Carr is a 37% three-point last year, 97 makes at Wake Forest. Just another big that can stretch the defense, handle the ball, run zoom action with him as well up top. Very versatile offensive player.
Knocks the first one down. Andrew Carr started his college career at Delaware, 20-22 with the Blue Hens. He was a great shooter, 41% from three his sophomore year. Going on to play in the ACC for the Demon Deacons, as Jimmy mentioned. I guess it is a new era in college basketball, but isn't it a little bit weird that none of these guys played together last year? You know, I know they've been practicing throughout the course of the summer, but first real game together. A couple of exhibitions, and the reverse goes for Otega Owe.
Good job by Owe to gather his speed and slow down, get his feet underneath his shoulders to power through what could have been some contact.
Largest lead of the game for Kentucky. Norris coming off a redshirt year last year. And here's Creasa with the handoff to Chandler.
And even the open looks aren't open right now for Wright State. You know, coming off of a ball screen, you think you got a good look at it, but that recovery length and recovery speed and tenacity by Kentucky so far tonight, all kinds of problems.
These are total roster turnovers. Cal, Louisville, 16 new guys. Oklahoma State and Vandy, 13 apiece. And Kentucky with 12.
Vanderbilt part of a loaded SEC this year. 9 teams start the year in that preseason AP top 25 poll, the most in all of college ball out of one conference.
One bracketologist out there, Jerry Palm, has 11 already in the tournament according to his way early bracket.
The Big 12 with 5 teams in the top 10 in the AP. That's a league that is certainly heavy up top. That could also end up with 9 or 10 teams in that NCAA bracket.
It'll be a fun race for superiority, the better league over the course of the season. Big 12 versus the SEC.
Did we have that conversation last year?
I think we did. Yep. And then UConn came in and won its second straight.
They sure did.
Nice step through. Lamar Williams, a good feed for a big fella.
Tom, I know he's really good. This is no takeaway from him, but there's just no defensive resistance at all by Wright State. You cannot buddy jog against Kentucky.
You end up with a bowl in your closet. Here's a 3 ball. That's off, and it's rebounded by Amari Williams. He's from Nottingham, England. Second most famous resident, right behind Robin Hood. Williams has 8 points and 9 boards already. 3-time CAA Defensive Player of the Year. Cats will play for the last shot.
Probably going to be a Horns dive pop. There's the dive.
5 on the clock. Williams after a dig down. Turnaround jump hook. Rebounded by Wright State. That's how the first half will come to an end. Cats finish on a 6-0 run. They had a couple of big runs in this first half, and Amari Williams is already sniffing a double-double. 8 points, 9 boards. Hey, maybe a triple-double. Go straight Isaiah Briscoe. Chris Mills on us before the night is done. 22-point lead for the Cats. More action coming your way at the half here on ESPNU. Kentucky an opening night with a comfortable first stanza against Wright State. From Rupp Arena, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. It is opening night in college basketball, and Kentucky with a brand new head coach where everything old is new again has a 22-point lead on Wright State. This program was turned upside down when John Calipari left after a 23-10 season to go to Arkansas, and after much consternation, they turned to one of their own. Mark Polk in the 96 championship game as a Kentucky captain. Had 4 points, 3 boards, a couple assists, played 27 minutes in the end. That team under Rick Pitino held the hardware. And then fast forward to Masters Sunday when Mark Pope was announced. They were trying to decide how they're going to do the announcement. Quickly they learned they could fill the entire arena. It was like a church revival that day.
And it's amazing if you go back and watch, because the first 24 hours after Mark Pope was named the head coach, there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of questioning going on about the hire, but man, how quickly did that get flipped. And Mark Pope, as soon as he started talking about this job, the entire Big Blue Nation rallied behind this guy. Again, he's won a national championship here. He understands the jersey. You know, he took BYU to 2 NCAAs in 5 years, has not won an NCAA tournament game as a head coach, and now he takes over the winningest program in the history of men's college basketball. But there's a quiet, humble confidence about Mark Pope that tells you he's going to do just fine in that head coach seat.
It's Andrew Carr with his second. He's a first alum since Joby Hall to have that first seat. It was interesting. I mentioned it was Master Sunday when he was announced. I was actually in Augusta at a big event, and the Kentucky job had just come open. That was early in the week. And none other than Colin Morikawa walked into the building and he said, "Hey, who here can get me the Kentucky job?" This guy's getting ready to play in one of the biggest tournaments of his career.
And he wants this job.
And he's thinking Kentucky basketball. Brandon Knowles got another free throw coming his way.
Tom, it's one of the premier jobs in all of sports, not just college basketball. And I remember my days here as an assistant for Eddie Sutton in Kentucky, and he walked in my office one day and said, this job is the best job in the country and the worst job in the country, all in the same 24 hours. But Mark Pope understands what he signed up for. He knows the assignment is to hang national championship banners, and he's not backing away from it at all, or should he?
Away from the corner. It's his first 3 of the night. He's got 11.
And he always is kind of a secondary shooter along with Butler in that starting 5. And those guys get to knocking down threes. Kentucky becomes almost impossible at times to defend in transition.
Good first pass, bad second pass. Butler wide open. And Knowles got another board. He's had a very busy night for Wright State. I know you were a little surprised you're doing your Wright State research. Not that they have a good program or that they won games or a high-scoring team, but how they were founded and named after.
Orville and Wilbur Wright. Yeah, they had a bicycle shop, kind of a machine shop. Watch out, Amari Williams on the short corner. Talking about the first airplane to fly. Amari Williams just took off. But yeah, that Wright State is actually named after Orville and Wilbur Wright.
I guess Dayton was founded before them. They got the Flyers nickname first.
They did. I mean, this is a Wright State school that was founded in 1967, I believe.
Sounds right.
They won the Division II national championship in 1983 before coming Division I in '86. But
mentioned the last win against a top 25 opponent came against Butler in 2007. That was a nice finish.
Really nice take by Butler. In transition, under control but strong. A lot of times, guards who get sped up when they get into traffic. Not this guy. Under control, bam, low, strong, tough. Well done by Butler. When you can finish, get fouled, and say hi to a cheerleader, that's a nice play.
That's a busy day, yeah. Jason Hart was coach at Southern Cal and recruited Butler before he went to San Diego State. He was big on his recruitment. As this staff rushed to put together a big portal class, and they had to try and beat Texas Tech, who was coming in to recruit Butler last second. So they all hopped in a plane and flew out to Vegas where Butler was doing his workouts, getting ready for the NBA draft. And he got in the portal, and the rest is history. That one slipped out of the hand of Knoll.
Remember Butler with a big-time shot in that Final Four against Florida Atlantic to get into that title game. You got a point guard that's been in that 2023 national title game, part of 4 Mountain West Conference championships at San Diego State, former Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year, a guy that was probably born in a defensive stance. And what a luxury when your point guard has all that on his resume as a head coach in year 1 for Mark Pope.
Williams gets a touch. He's got a size advantage. Gives it up to Butler. Wanted to lob it right back to him, and after the pump fake, it'll bring a trip to the free throw line. And Maribe with his first personal.
Foul is on Amaribe. That's his first.
And so that'll put Amari Williams at the free throw line. Plays on the English national team. Sasha Kalea-Jones, one of his teammates. He was on the U teams. Amari Williams was under 16, 18, and 20. And he's one of the guys new to this team from a different program that's got to get used to playing at a different tempo. When he was at Drexel, their tempo was 332nd in the country, 340th, 259th, and 340th again.
Well, I think that is why he averaged, 10 points and 7 rebounds. Very, very modest numbers, but Mark Pope saw that this guy is a skilled playmaker that fits exactly into the style, the scheme of how this Kentucky offense is going to roll.
Cats have picked up three-quarter court a couple of times. Wright State nearly solved it, but Butler stole it from behind.
How fast he recovered from behind the ball, man, amazing.
Butler full head of steam. Stopping a spin, and now Carr for three. Jackson Robinson the board. Carr again. Got it this time.
Those are dagger threes by Kentucky. It'll happen all year long. If you don't win the foot race to the ball on the first missed three, you're asking for trouble, and Carr makes him pay. Really well done by Kentucky. A 9-0 run, bam, just like that. And it's going to happen not just to Wright State in this building, but several others. Kentucky humming early in the season.
Roxy Bernstein and Jay Will are in Spokane tonight for a Top 10 Showdown. Number 8 Baylor, number 6 Gonzaga on ESPN2 late night 11:30 Eastern. Rematch of the 21 National Championship game. And two teams that have been regulars in the postseason. Baylor's the only team in the country have a 3-seed or better each of the last 4 seasons. And Zag's only team in the Sweet 16 for the last 9 years.
Look at that second line. B.J. Edgecombe is a freshman for Baylor that there's probably 4 guys in that freshman class that could end up being the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. Cooper Flagg at Duke, Ace Bailey at Rutgers, a 6'10" kid that can do it all. Dylan Harper also at Rutgers, and B.J. Edgecombe. Those 4 guys, to me, in this year's freshman class, keep an eye on them. One of those 4 could be the next number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
Well, those two coaches at both Baylor and Gonzaga are good friends, and that's the first, I think it's the first of what will be a long series. I know they signed a long-term deal to continue playing. But, Jimmy, I wish more coaches would be confident enough to get the season started with the bang. And we got the champions a week from tomorrow, which will be fantastic. But college basketball, to me, just for lack of planning, gets lost in the shuffle of everything else. Opening night should be a huge celebration. Corner 3 for Ole.
It has been here in Lexington. This is exactly what Mark Pope promised at that opening press conference. We're going to be aggressive on both ends of the floor. I talked about in the first half. They practice a lot, Kentucky does, with 15 seconds on the shot clock. That's how aggressive, how fast, how much urgency they want to bring that ball with and hunt those quick shots.
Feed inside, Brandon Garrison. Cole trying to keep him away. Garrison. No good. Tracked it down. First offensive rebound off of a 2 for Kentucky tonight. You wish we had more top 25 matchups on opening night?
Yeah, I do. And from a coaching standpoint, though, I also get it. You know, just especially, Tom, these days when you're completely rebuilding rosters, we just want to have a couple of games just to get an idea to make sure we're ready for those monster matchups like Baylor, Gonzaga later tonight. Got some good ones coming up this weekend. Auburn and Houston, I believe it's down in Houston. I'll be at the Arkansas-Baylor game in Dallas. So those big-time top 25 matchups are coming our way.
Cats leading 61-28. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Opening night in college basketball. And Jimmy mentioned it a moment ago. There's some big-time matchups on what usually is the college football Saturday. But Tennessee and Louisville matchup, that one will air on the ACC network. Kentucky's home against Bucknell on SEC+. And Baylor and Arkansas in a big-time matchup. The nightcap on ESPNU, Auburn and Houston.
Tom, when I think of Houston, there's a handful of teams that their DNA is bulletproof, and that's Houston. They're not going to change who they are as long as Kelvin Sampson's on the sidelines. You're talking about a club that I believe they returned 4 starters from that Big 12 regular season title. The first time through the Big 12, they run away with the conference title. Made it to the Sweet 16. In my eyes, they could also easily be ranked #1 right now. Kansas has it. Alabama is who I voted for, but I would have no problem with Houston being the preseason #1 team either.
You could see a couple of teams as odds favorites or close to it win a national title for the first time, like Houston and Bama. Butler with the turnaround. And he gets it to roll home. That's 9 for Lamont Butler. You saw Kansas and Arkansas up close and personal. Tell me about that Arkansas team.
Their guard play was electric that night. Boogie Fland, who was a former Kentucky signee that went with Calipari to Fayetteville, was just outstanding. Kansas couldn't stay in front of him all night long, and DJ Wagner was the same way. Now Kansas was down Hunter Dickinson, preseason player of the year favorite in a lot of people's eyes. Ryland Griffin started every game last year for a Final Four team, Alabama. But you know, 2 teams I said that night that legitimately have a chance to get to the Final Four. Just watching how they play and the talent that they both have to work with. But Fayetteville was electric for the debut of John Calipari.
Bill Self's got 2 national titles. Ripped down his 3rd. That one went out of bounds after the near steal by Dumbia. SEC news and notes. If you're watching tonight, you're probably aware of the #1 note on that graphic. Calipari after 15 seasons here, 4 Final Fours and a national title now at Arkansas. Bama's picked to win the league. Mark Sears, 2nd leading scorer in the league last year behind Dalton Knecht. Went off to the NBA with the Lakers, and we see Texas and Oklahoma in the league for the first time.
You know, speaking of Mark Sears, I think he's got a great chance to be the National Player of the Year. He and R.J. Davis in North Carolina, to me, going into the season, would be 1A and 1B. You know, I got to wait and see how they play, but man, those 2 guards are dynamic.
Kobe Brea with the 3.
I said it earlier. Kobe Brea was considered the best shooter in the portal. 49% last year at Dayton, 43% for his career, over 224 made threes coming in. A big-time spot-up shooter.
2-time Atlantic 10 6th man of the year with the Flyers.
Tom, I just look at this Kentucky team. I saw Kansas and Arkansas. I look at the pieces that this Kentucky team has, the depth at the guard position, the big wings in Robinson and Brea that can shoot it, the depth inside with Amari Williams and Brandon Garrison. There's a lot of good things for Kentucky, Big Blue Nation, to be excited about in year 1 under Pope.
Lowe's got 16. This is, as we mentioned earlier, a loaded league this year. 9 SEC teams in the top 25. It will not be an easy schedule. They step through on the share. And a trip to the free throw line coming for Aiden Davis, who missed the layup.
Now look over Clint Sargent, the first-year head coach at Wright State. You know, a long-time assistant there at Wright State. Learned the game under the coach he played for. It's a motion offense. But I was so impressed talking with him last night. Just the thoughtfulness that he has, the quiet confidence that he has, the great vision for where this program's going to be. And he knows that Wright State has to get back to being who Wright State has been in the last 4 or 5 years, with the exception of last year. They've got to tighten up their defensive end of the floor. And part of it was tied to personnel last year. They kind of got lost in how good they were offensively, but there you see his bio class. But he was a heck of a player at South Dakota State. I believe his wife was also like a 3 or 4-time all-conference player at South Dakota State, a basketball family, but the score's not indicative tonight of how good of a coach he is and what I think Wright State's going to be in that Horizon League going forward.
Played for Scott Nagy and coached under Scott Nagy. He took the Southern Illinois job in the offseason. It's a team that last year scored 100 points 6 times. They lost Darren Horn's Northern Kentucky team in overtime in the Horizon League quarters. Northern Kentucky playing on the road tonight. They're at Florida State.
Kentucky just time and time again, Tom, when you watch their half-court possession, there's no one bottling up the lane. They're running 5 out, and they're keeping that lane open, keeping a lot of pressure on you if you want to overplay. And because the lane's open, that quick dive out of a ball screen is always in play for guys like Williams and Garrison going forward this year for the Cats.
So Amari Williams to the free throw line. And another one coming his way. Kentucky 121 on opening day. Mark Pope's been a part of those 21 losses. He was here with Utah Valley State to open the season as their head coach a few years ago. It's not the first time he's been the head coach in this building. Nice fake, and the open mid-range is off the mark. Amari Williams aboard. He's filling up the stat sheet tonight. One more. Give the freshman Chandler the assist. Leandri Almanor three.
It all started, though, with a blazing speed of that basketball flooding the floor, and all 5 guys running with great spacing.
Meanwhile, Williams has his 25th career double-double. He's got 11 points and 10 boards. Noel with a block touch.
He's only 6'7", and the length has eaten him up in this game for the most part.
Kriisa tips it out. Back to Chandler. And Williams lost it on the way in. It'll be Wright State basketball.
One of the few turnovers for Kentucky in this game. I think it's only their, 6th turnover? But the number of times that Amari Williams is the play starter, if your post guy is starting that many plays and you've only turned it over 6 times as a team, that's a pretty clean 3/4 of a basketball game by Kentucky.
He's got 11 and 11 in 17 minutes. Oh, ricocheted out of bounds off of Kentucky. We got a timeout on the floor. On college basketball's opening night, the winningest program in college basketball is off to another W, 71-33 UK. Get ready for this Kentucky tempo. 29 of their 71 points have come in transition so far tonight, Jim.
Yeah, racehorse basketball, right, in the Bluegrass State. Watch Kentucky here, their run game. And what I want to point out, the speed that they come with, but Tom, the discipline that they run with. Hold it right there, guy. Look at the spacing that they're coming up the floor. 5 guys wide, but they're not on top of each other. That floor is spaced from the first 3 steps of their conversion offense to the final push, and the ball swung to the corner. That is great speed, tremendous spacing, and quick ball reversal, which winds up in a wide open 3 from the corner. Really well done by Kentucky. It takes tremendous discipline to run with that type of space.
Cats made about 10 threes per game last season. Almanor picks up the foul. That is his first. And for Wright State, am I right? Maribe will go to the free throw line. 5th-year senior out of Houston, who's had a couple of different stops on his way to Wright State. Played Division III basketball for 3 seasons at McMurray. That included the COVID year. Then went junior college for a couple before going to Houston Christian, where he made 26 starts for him last year. He had a double-double against Texas, 11 points and 12 boards. They want a chicken biscuit with a miss here. Did we get one? Sure. And slide it again.
He will have a role for Clint Sargent this year. He's got massively strong hands. They're going to be probably their leading rebounder on the year. Fits in really well on a team that can really score. They need a role guy, and I think he will be at 33 in green.
Brad dumps it inside. Nice pass.
Yeah. Tom, he cut before the ball was ever caught almost. Just the timing in the field by Almanor on that weak side slot.
Cats have held Wright State to 28% shooting tonight. Nice cut and a finish on the other end. That's Brandon Knoll. He's got a team high 13. Almanor beats everybody down the floor.
Just constant, relentless pressure by Kentucky.
Challenge 2. Brea had his hand right in the face of Solomon Callahan.
I like him a lot, man. He's got some explosiveness about him. Really moves well as an athlete for a freshman.
Another beautiful cut. Chandler fouled at the rim. First on Callahan. Look at the backdoor cut here.
And watch this weak side cut. Albanor is going to rise up 15 in white right here at the bottom of your screen. And watch as Carr catches it. Bam, go. That is so well done. Now, is falling asleep. Hill was by not seeing ball, you man, but a perfectly timed, well-spaced offense allows for that weak side 45 diagonal cut right on the button.
22 assists on 29 buckets for Kentucky. This is Colin Chandler, freshman from Farmington, Utah, was ready to go to BYU to play for Mark Pope after a 2-year LDS mission trip. And here's Garrison back in the game. It was interesting in an article I read about Chandler having 2 years off from basketball while he was on his mission trip. He said there wasn't, and if you know anything about their trips, there's no basketball being played. It is strictly mission work. He said, now there are occasions I'd find a hoop and I'd try to work out. I would work on my dunking. There wasn't, he didn't get out there working on his jump shot. No, this guy's got hops. He won the slam dunk contest, the Big Blue Madness. He jumped right over Mark Pope and his wife.
And the day before, it was Mark Pope and me.
Yes.
And then I got subbed out for Leanne. It was a good call by Kentucky to do it.
That's a good coaching.
There's my guy. Right, I love this kid as a person. I like this game a lot, though. Just unafraid in Rupp Arena as a true freshman.
That's left hand by Kobe Bryant. Got a baker's dozen. What makes Kentucky so impactful on the defensive end tonight?
Well, it starts with their scheme, their spacing, and their ability to run the offense through their 5-man. Puts a lot of pressure on those other 4 spots. And again, Mark Pope is never going to be caught without at least 3 legit shooters on the floor. And most of the time, it's going to be 4 or 5.
Here's Creasa with the lob. And Garrison still nearly finished it after it was knocked away by Knowles.
That's going to be a constant for Kentucky all year. A step-up ball screen by the big and an immediate rim run out of it, phone it to 7-footers.
There's a switch, and that is off the back rim, but another offensive rebound for Wright State, launched by Knowles. Chandler with the skip pass. Garrison. You know, they were rivals last year in Bedlam, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and Cowboy will Sooner assist.
Yeah, they put their bad feelings behind him. And always got a little bit of a hitch in his shot, but he knocked down 37% of his threes last year at Oklahoma.
Feet inside, and it rolls home for Callahan, who's rightly put up 13, 11 of those in the second half.
He's going to get a lot of minutes this year.
Creasa had a wide open layup, dishes it out for the assist.
But that's a Kentucky layup this year. There's 2 different kinds, layups at the rim and layups from the 3-point line. Kurt Creasa has some swagger and some moxie about him that I think Kentucky's going to need all year long. It was on display right there. Big Blue Nation is rolling.
All Cats here tonight, 8:36 to go in the second half.
Kurt Creasa is a clever risk taker. He turns down the wide open layup and throws a left-hand pass across his body to Brea, who actually turns away from it after the release. And there's a swagger about this Kentucky team that I think is real. It's a confident humility that comes from Mark Pope, but his guys are extremely confident in who they are and how they play.
I think Creasa is a great example of that on the bench now. Creasa, such a, I don't know, consistent trash talker that he was playing International League game against Luka Doncic's team, and Estonia had the comfortable lead. He talked so much trash, he poked the bear. They went on a 17-0 run. They never got back in it. I asked Kerr before the game today, I said, who's the best trash talker you've ever played with? And he pointed to walk-on Walker Horn. He said, this guy never stops talking,
wow,
which was a total joke. I mean, just right off the cuff. He's so confident and comfortable. Even when we were here for Madness and he came out to Beyonce, started shaking his backside up in the upper deck, came here for the ring. No, leaves it short.
Think about the depth of Kentucky guard play, though. Kurt Creasa has 92 college basketball starts under his belt. Not starting right now. We're 235 or 36 made threes. And he led the Pac-12 back-to-back years at Arizona in assists. I mean, he's a big-time guard coming off the bench for Kentucky.
The roller goes for Logan Woods, first bucket of the night for the sophomore. Yeah, he even referred to Lamont Butler as point guard one. He knew he had an opportunity to come here when he was playing for and who he was playing with. Bray, a nice dish. Butler triple pump, fouls again. And Lamont Butler beat the free throw line when we return. Cats by 40 biggins right now with 7:04 to go. Cats 87, Raiders 47 here. Second half with 7:04 to play. ESPN is recognizing all veterans and active members of the U.S. Armed Forces as we approach Veterans Day. That is longtime Wright State assistant coach and current radio analyst Jim Brown, who is a Vietnam veteran, 26 years as the Raiders' top assistant, and even a season as their interim head coach. He did all that while continuing to serve as a captain in the Army Reserve throughout the 1980s. He's been on the Wright State radio crew for over a decade and recently celebrated his 80th birthday. Thank you, Jim,
good for him,
and all veterans for your service to our country.
No doubt.
My Butler at the free throw line.
Will you still be doing this when you're 80?
If you're with me, yes. But what would you be, 65 at that point? You couldn't put up with me for that long.
No, it's taking all I got for the next 7.5 minutes of this one. I'm still fascinated that Wright State was named after Orville and Wilbur Wright. Can we talk about that again?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. I mean, the plane was first flown in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
That's right.
So there's a rivalry between North Carolina and the state of Ohio. Like, when was the airplane really invented? And this is the footage we came up with.
So
this is the first
did you shoot
machine.
that? Did you shoot that footage?
I was there. That's fascinating to me that they actually invented the plane and did all the homework in Ohio and transported it to North Carolina because the winds would help.
Yeah, they wanted to get off that big sand dune, Kill Devil Hills. Keaton Norris with the foul. That's his second. Wright State resides in Dayton, Ohio. Founded in 1967. Enrollment just shy of 12,000. They won their first ever NCAA tournament game right there in Dayton, playing in the first four. That must have been pretty cool, although they were playing at UD Arena.
When they opened in 1964, the school is actually a branch of Miami, Ohio, and Ohio State University opening up a campus.
1 point for Amari Williams. And another one coming his way. 7 feet tall, 262 pounds. Out of Nottingham, England. Have you talked to Amari yet?
A couple of times.
How's his accent?
Beautiful. Like his game.
Reach in and knocked away. Always started it. Butler cleans it up, and now Carr shares it. Away we go. Got 21.
Kentucky's been very good tonight in those gap helps. Going hard with two hands. Not reaching, giving full body help. Very active. Physical. Anytime they've had any type of a switch opportunity. Look at the attack of the ball right there by Butler again. One of the top 3 or 4 defensive point guards in the country is number 1 in that Kentucky uniform tonight.
Two-time Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Lamont Butler. Almanor back on the floor.
Interesting talking to Mark Pope when he put this roster together. He and his staff asked himself 2 questions when they went into that portal. Is he good enough to play here? And can he handle the pressure to play here? And Mark Pope knows that this program's not for everyone. It's not built for everyone because the magnifying glass is on you every step of the way. And for him to understand not only the talent that you have to play at this level, but can you handle the eyes, the expectations, and the pressure of this Kentucky fan base? I just think that's great insight for a guy that understands this program as well as anybody.
There's Alex Hubricks, the tier senior out of Grafton, Wisconsin. Got another one coming his way.
And just to clean up my Orville and Wilbur Wright salute, there would not be a Jimmy's Jet without those two brothers. So it just comes back full circle to that.
They are to blame.
Hey, my guy Aiden almost got one down.
He did. Aiden Davis, the freshman on the floor for Wright State. Butler, beautiful spin.
The Butler did it, huh? Did he not? Man, that defensive bulldog, but he has shown his scoring ability so low and strong on both ends of the floor.
Butler with 14 and comes with a couple of missed shots at the rim and a Wright State turnover. Lamont Butler out of Moreno Valley, California.
He's done a little bit of everything. He was actually rapping on Big Blue Madness, a song that he wrote, but he puts Noel in a spin cycle. Everything about this guy is low and strong. As a defender, as an offensive player, always on balance. Again, a Final Four national championship point guard experience in year one.
Air ball in the corner, ends up in the Cats' hands, and then a shove and a whistle on Aiden Davis. He can also solve the Rubik's Cube in under a minute. Lamont Butler, that is.
I've heard Colin Chandler actually took him down in a Rubik's Cube off. Yes. The lady behind me said yes.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so if she said it,
does she have a headset?
Did you hear me say that?
Here's Garrison from the free throw line. College football coming your way this weekend on the SEC Network. South Carolina Vandy at 4:15, and I'll be in Como for Oklahoma and Missouri in renewal of that longtime rivalry. When it gets to be 95-51, the Palombos make the air, I suppose. That's where we've gotten to this point in the game.
And that SEC football race has heated up, has it not?
Yep.
This past Saturday with Tennessee's win, Georgia's loss, A&M's loss. And a bunch of them got one. Can't afford two.
A fadeaway, what a shot.
Tommy's a good player. Hugh Brickwood called his name several times tonight. He was the most efficient offensive player in the Horizon last year. Just good size, can create his own look.
Jim, I think what's really interesting to tie the football conversation back on the basketball side, Almanor is able to finish. One of the reasons everything's so locked up on the football side is they went away from divisions. Right? So you get 16 teams and no divisions. That means you've got the elite and you've got a couple at the bottom, but everybody else is just scratching and clawing to try and move up and down the rankings. Nice reverse for Noel. Cats a bucket away from triple digits. Averaged 89 points a game last year.
Tom, it's an old roster, Kentucky, but just not old together. But you wouldn't know it watching them play tonight, the way they move the ball, how they've ran in sync and concert in their transition. They haven't fought each other in the game. It's a really good, clean start by Mark Pope. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. Mark Pope, humble, thoughtful, but very confident. His team plays the same way.
He's also a very safe driver. We get back in the car with him right after this.
Big picture, a successful season for Kentucky basketball this year happens because of what and because of whom?
Getting better every single day. And it's every individual getting better every single day, and it's every member on the staff getting better every single day. It's our graphics and media department getting better every single day, and our training, our performance team, and our psychology liaisons and everybody else getting better every single day. That's the way we get to where we're expected to get to. We're good.
I think
go.
they know who you are.
No problem at the security gate for Mark Pope.
You know, exactly. He deflects the attention really well. Now he gets it. He understands Kentucky basketball and the seat that he's renting until the next guy takes over many, many years down the road, most likely. But I thought it was interesting last night at the end of practice. Lamont Butler and Kirk Creasa, their parents are here tonight, and they were at practice last night. And he ended practice, Tom, by circling the team up. And he had Lamont Butler go first and say, introduce us to your parents and tell us something important about them. And it's a very thoughtful process from the players talking about their parents, what they've done for them, what they mean to them, what they've learned from them, all those things. And then it's followed up by Kirk Creasa doing the same thing. I say that because Mark Pope was a Rhodes Scholar. He's a very thoughtful guy in everything he does. And he's bringing everybody, parents included, along for this ride of Kentucky basketball right now.
Trent Noah and Travis Perry, two of the freshmen on the floor now for Kentucky. Contested three. And that was part of our discussion, actually, was how he motivates players, and he does it through positive support. He said, I don't think I need to yell and scream to get the best out of somebody.
He asks a lot of questions. And he'll stop practice and single out someone and say, hey, why are we doing this? What are we looking for here? He's a teacher in that craft center. I believe now in the 6 practices that I've watched for Kentucky, he kind of has that teacher mode about him every time. There's my guy again. I'm a big fan. Oh, no. Sprained ankle by Callahan at the end. But he's got an explosiveness and a gear about him. He has gone by Kentucky several times tonight in this game.
Cats sitting on 99 as Callahan heads the bench with 2:47 to go.
He is a star on-ball defender, and
I hope that's an ankle.
Yeah, I do too.
Meanwhile, Perry and Noah on the floor. They played in the Sweet 16 here at Rupp. Perry's grandparents were at the game today. Ran into them at the hotel. Beautiful feed inside and a touch pass. And they share it again, and Bray is able to clean up his 18th point of the night.
I just think that play right there kind of sums up Kentucky tonight. Not afraid to make not the extra pass, but the right pass.
Good challenge, but it ends up on a whistle on Trent Noah, the freshman from Harlan, Kentucky, Harlan County High School.
To me, extra passes normally result in a turnover. Like, we didn't need it. We didn't need the extra pass. But the right pass results in 2 points or 3 points. And you get a guy cutting along the baseline like Garrison had right there. That was the right play and the right pass at the right time.
Dallin Chandler back on the floor, so 3 freshmen on the court at the same time for Kentucky. And you pointed this out earlier. That was a regular occurrence under John Calipari with all of the freshman talent that he brought in year after year. The roster makeup now. Here's Noah. And a good feed inside before Allenor lays it in for his 11th point of the night.
That high-low game is very difficult to defend because you've got a high guy that's 6'11", 7 foot up top, feeding that 4-man posted up. So many different weapons on this Kentucky team in terms of talent and play calls.
Cats scoring 100 tonight for the first time since their regular season finale against Arkansas last year. They put 111 on the Hogs. One of 6 100-point games for Kentucky last year. Perry penetrates. Little handoff for Noah. Garrison charged to distribute now. Shot clock at 5, and Chandler was going back door before the kick. Now 5 seconds left on the shot clock here.
Tom, the SEC is loaded once again. I already talked about 9 teams in the preseason AP Top 25, the most in college ball. You could just almost flip that right now and not be wrong in terms of how it might finish. And Kentucky is more than capable of winning the league this year. Looking at their personnel, the style of play. And those Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee are loaded up. And multiple Final Four threats out of this league and the Big 12 this year. Those two leagues will dominate that March bracket.
And some playing time for Walker Horn tonight. Guy that Kirk Creasy said was the best trash talker he's ever been on the floor with. That Darren, Lexington native, coach at Northern Kentucky now. Perry challenged. Here's Noah. Shot clock late again, and a dump down out to Perry, back to Horn. He swings it around. Noah for three. Nice denial inside by Brandon Garrison. Here's Perry. Nope. All-time leading scorer in Kentucky prep history. And Perry's still looking for his first as a Cat.
More important, he's also a scratch golfer and the high school valedictorian.
That's it? Said he started growing that mustache after his junior year of high school playing for his dad. Said it's not that I couldn't do it, I just didn't want to jinx anything. No jinx tonight for the Cats. A 103-62 victory over Wright State. The Mark Pope era starts off with a dominating victory. Mark Pope got everything he wanted from his squad tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. The Pope was blessed tonight in a lot of ways. His guys played like they practiced. That's the first thing as a head coach your first year, the first game. Do we play like we have practiced? The aggressive push was there all night offensively, always on attack. And defensively, they were tremendous. And Wright State is a step below where Kentucky is, but still you see the game plan and the direction that Mark Pope was wanting to go over 100 and not rely completely on the threes. Terrific offensive balance by Mark Pope and his guys tonight. A tremendous start for a guy who understands the importance of that Kentucky jersey in this state.
So the Cats will take a lap and they'll snap a picture after Mark Pope's first win. We're getting you ready for UNC Asheville and Alabama coming up next on ESPNU. More to come from Rupp after this. A dominating performance by Mark Pope's Kentucky Wildcats tonight. And there's a celebration for his first win as the head man of the Cats for the 1996 captain of a national championship team. He told me today on the way to the arena, he said every game is the biggest game ever. And there's a commemoration of his first win here at Kentucky. Gotta feel good, huh?
You see him giving Mitch Barnhart a hug. And again, he told Mitch Barnhart, you can talk to a lot of guys about the Kentucky jersey. I'm the only guy that's you're talking to about this job that understands it. And from day one, he has not backed down from the assignment is to hang national championship banners. He's got a blueprint, he's got a vision, and this fan base has embraced Mark Pope tremendous way.
And they did a lot of things right tonight. They shot 60% from the floor. They shot 46% from three. It wasn't necessarily one of these games where they shot a ton of threes, but we know that's going to be part of the attack going forward for Kentucky.
Yeah, high IQ offense by Kentucky tonight. I said it all game long. Take what the defense gives you, but and a lot of good things.
All right, well, we're joined courtside here by Mark Pope before we get to the Alabama game. A really cool moment. Congratulations on the win. What are you feeling and thinking right now, separate from just coaching a basketball game for 2 hours?
Well, I don't know. I think that's the only thing we're thinking about is coaching a basketball game. It's just that's kind of what we do, right? So I was really pleased with our team. You know, in terms of this being able to be in this building, it's the greatest honor of, you know, it would be the greatest honor of any coach in all of basketball's life to be able to coach a game here, represent the University of Kentucky. So certainly that's true for me also.
Mark, I want to go back to before the game. What were your thoughts as you came out of that tunnel for the first time as a head coach at Kentucky? It had to mean something spectacular to you.
Yeah, it's come on. I mean, you know, I'm not going to start crying right now, but
Go ahead.
This is, you know, we have these experiences in our life that change us forever. They change actually what our insides are, and you get to do that with people, right? And so here I am at a place that changed me forever with all the people that we got to go through that experience together, like Miss Marianne Sims right here, and there's nothing like it. It's you know, we talked about this the other night. It's walking into Rupp is like walking into your house. It's just 22,000 people are there, and it's a brilliant thing, and it means everything to me, and we're excited about trying to represent this program in this state in an epic way.
Hey, congratulations on the win. Here's to many more.
Thank you, baby. Appreciate
There's
you
Mark
guys.
Pope.
Have a great one.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
First ever win as Kentucky's head coach, and it was a comfortable one, 103-62. And these fans are going to stick around to see him chat with Tom Leach and get on the post-game radio show in just a few. We got more coming your way at UNC Asheville and Alabama, but I think he said, I'm not going to start crying, but he could have, because this is all emotional for him because of his buy-in.
He knew that he wasn't the first choice here. And he kept waiting for that phone to ring, and when it did, is a quick yes on his end. And he convinced the Kentucky decision makers, I'm the right guy right now.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see that Mark Pope has an offense and a style and a system that he 100% believes in, and more importantly, his guys believe in it and executed it really well tonight for a first game.
Impressive on both sides. The offense was hitting on all cylinders, and they locked down Wright State, held them just 62. Big one tonight. Alabama, a Final Four candidate, at home in Tuscaloosa against UNC Asheville. Alongside Richard Hendricks, here's Dave Neal.